Amazing! Gracious!
Another person's fast food Toy Story.
Yay!
Thank you. Thank you very much for tuning in once again to Person's Fast Food Toy Story. And boy, guys, have I got a lot of surprise for you. So you see, I was able to collect 61 toys to be added in my Percy's Fast Food toy collection. And today we are going to feature all of these 61 toys in just one sitting. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. First off, we have Hello Kitty. So this diminutive figure of Hello Kitty was actually given away by 8 o'clock orange juice drink. Now this orange juice drink was actually, produced by Coca-Cola also. I can still remember, opening up this powdered orange juice drink and then pouring them in a bowl so that you may be able to get the Hello Kitty. And then it smelled like orange juice. That's Hello Kitty. Okay, that is it. Now, this one is actually Peter Pan. This was released by Wendy's simultaneously with the release of the film, the live action film of Peter Pan. Okay, so the actor that played Peter Pan was actually Jeremy Sumter, if I am not mistaken. Way back in 2003, it was an awesome movie, and the toy are equally awesome. So kudos to Wendy's for having come up with this wonderful set of toys. Okay, next we have Chow from Jackie Chan's Adventures. Okay, so this is so awesome. Look at this one. This was released by Burger King way back in 2001. And of course, this is an animated version of Jackie Chan's adventure. Okay, so Chow here is in a coalition with the trash, and it looks very, very action-packed, to say the least. Okay, now this one is a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which was actually released by Arby's way back in 2002. Okay, so this is part of the series of Arby's, the Discovery Kids, wherein they get to play with like these prehistoric dinosaurs and get to discover all of these fascinating characters. That is very awesome. And this one is actually Deidre the Air Knight. Okay, this is from the Mystic Knights of Tirnanog. Okay, produced by Saban, the creators of the Power Rangers. Okay, this was released by McDonald's as a Happy Meal toy way back in 1999. It looks very nice. Look at the details of this toy. And then I actually can light up, I'm not so sure. It's been old. It's from way back 1999. That was a long time ago. Okay, next one we have which one do we have? Okay, so this is Grimace, and as you can see, he's wearing an astronaut. This is actually part of the series called Millennium Space Jets. So they were released in the year 2000. Look at that, the golden arches. So of course they would have to come up with Millennium Space Jets, and this is one of them, with Grimace flying one of those Millennium Space Jets. Okay, this is Torchic. It's actually a spinning wheel. It actually has that long straps that you have to use so that it will spin. So this is coinciding the release of Pokemon Sapphire and Ruby way back in 2003. So Torchic is actually a fire type Pokemon from Generation 2. Such a wonderful Happy Meal toy. Next toy is Spiel, a Pokemon, ice water Pokemon. So they're part of the Generation 3 as well, and this is a spinning top also, so you can basically spin it, and they were released way back in 2004 by McDonald's Happy Meal. And next toy is Cappy Loop the Loop. Okay, so this actually has a loop the loop action here, so I'm still going to look for that loop the loop. So this was released in Europe by Burger King way back in 2005. What an awesome toy. And then we go with our next toy, which is a Furby, and it's an orange Furby. And this was released in 1998 by McDonald's in cooperation with Tiger Electronics. Okay, so this is actually a miniature version of the big interactive furries. This one has a wheel here, and it's supposed to make the ears and the legs move whenever you make the spinning, whenever you push the Pokemon. So it's been with me for the past several years, that's why. But it still looks very cute. I mean, I've got to say, this is really cute. Look at the fuzzy hair. I love it. Okay, our next toy is from Lord of the Rings. This is actually Arwen Undemiel and the horse Asphalot. Okay, that is so cool. We know Arwen was actually played by Liv Tyler, the daughter of, Aerosmith's frontman. Okay, so this is so cool from Lord of the Rings, released by Burger King way back in 2001. What a wonderful toy. And then our next toy is none other than Year of the Dog. This was released with the celebration of the Chinese New Year. They were basically released in Hong Kong, Japan, and China. So there are basically 5 different dogs in celebration of the Year of the Dog in 1994. Okay, this toy is Spinda, a spinning top. So this is a Pokemon Spinda. Okay, this was released in 2004 by McDonald's, and this is actually a Pokemon. Look at that. Okay, what a wonderful toy. Okay, our next toy is can't wait. So this is Skitty. It kind of looks like Kitty. Hello Kitty. So this is Kitty, an energetic and very playful Pokemon, and it is actually a spinning top. What a wonderful toy! And this was released by McDonald's way back in 2004. Wow, this is so cool. And you don't need a strap to actually make it spin. You just spin it, scratch it, and then it will spin. This next toy is pretty old. I don't know. This is circa 1990s. This is actually used as an ID tag, as a bag tag, and also, you can basically use it for tags. So it is very rubbery, released by Jollibee. As you can see, we have that cute continent of Jollibee here. Very cute and rubbery. Pretty old one though. Okay, moving forward, we have this particular toy. This is actually Jetstorm, which was released by McDonald's way back in 1999. So this is part of the Transformers Beast Machines Deluxe. So this is a very charismatic yet antagonistic character. It's actually the general of the Vehicon. Okay, so he's basically a robot and can transform into a Cybertronic jet. Look at that. And it has that red center, a spark crystal, a detail, which is a signature element of the Beast Machines toy line. So you can basically transform him into a robot and then also into a Cybertronic jet. Okay, on to our next toy. What could be? So, wow, look, Mr. Incredible from the film The Incredibles. This was released by McDonald's in 2004. Okay, this is a very strong guy. Look at the tab. When you push it around, you can actually articulate or make these actions from Bob Parr, aka Mr. Incredible. Look at that. It has the insignia there, but unfortunately it is a little scratched out. This is an old toy, so probably one of the kids was able to scratch it out. What a wonderful toy. Okay, our next toy is Morph, okay, from Treasure Planet. I think this is also Disney. This was released in 2002 by McDonald's. Look at that. It's so cute. It looks like a pink blob, and it actually has that characteristics of morphing, shifting, shape-shifting more. And this is very rubbery. Look at that. It's so cute. What a wonderful toy. Okay, and then we have this Dexter's Laboratory rocket ship. Look at that. This was released. Oh, look at that. There's Dee also at the bottom, her pesky, annoying ways, Dexter's sister. This was actually released by Jollibee way back in 2001. What a wonderful toy. Okay, next one. This is actually a robot from the Spy Kids 3D. Look at that. Look at that. Can you see? There's actually a kid inside this robot who's manipulating the actions of this robot. So this is a very transparent robot, if I may do say so myself. This was released by McDonald's in 2003, coinciding with the release of Spy Kids 3D. Yes. Okay, on to our next toy. What could be next? Okay, so this is actually called Optimus Primal. Okay, so this was part of the Transformers Beast Machines, released by McDonald's way back in 2000. So it's probably called Optimus Primal because it can actually transform into a gorilla, like a primate. Okay, so this is so cool. It can transform from a regular robot or into the likeness of a gorilla. Okay, next one we have Dum Da Dum Dum. Okay, so this is Scarper from the Real Monsters from Nickelodeon. Unfortunately, I thought this is actually a fast food toy, but it's actually from Mattel. But I do believe the Burger King sort of released some of the characters from Real Monsters, but this is not one of them. Anyway, so that's from Mattel way back in 1995. Look at this cutie. This is actually Oxnard from Hamtaro Halloween series, released by Burger King way back in 2003. So Oxnard is actually a friend of Hamtaro. Our next toy is none other than Fappy the Dragon. So this is from the show Dave the Barbarian. This was released by McDonald's way back in 2004. Look at that. This is so cute. Well, people say that this Fappy is a dim-witted, low IQ dragon. It looks like a pig, but it nevertheless looks very cute. One of the best fast food toys in my book. Okay, on to the next one. This is Simba from The Lion King. Look at the young Simba. This was actually from Kellogg's, so you can basically have them from all the Kellogg cereals, and I particularly love the Rice Krispies. Anyway, these are really cool collection. They're bobbleheads of some of our favorite Disney characters from 2003. Now this toy is basically futuristic. This is actually Meowchi from Tiger Electronics, from Sega also. These are part of the Robo Chi series from McDonald's. They were released in 2003. So this is basically how the pets of the future would look like. Very robotic. Okay, our next toy is what's this? Screaming Screech Melissa. Okay, look at that. It has some holes there for the speaker because she's really screaming. So this character is from Toonsylvania, released by Burger King way back in 1998. What a pretty, nice looking toy. Look at that. She's really screaming her heart out. Okay, the next one is Minnie Mouse from Disney. Of course, who would forget about Minnie Mouse? This was another bobblehead of Minnie Mouse from this Disney series of bobbleheads released by Kellogg. So you can basically buy any Kellogg cereals and then get for yourself any of the Disney bobbleheads. Next one is another bobblehead, and this time this is Buzz Lightyear, voiced by Tim Allen. Of course, I just love Kellogg's back then. You know, they were constantly giving away toys just like this one way back in 2003. But nowadays, the toys have become very scarce. So whenever I do chance upon cereal boxes with toys, I just would grab them. Okay, the next toy is Dashpar, the son, the offspring of Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible. This Dashpar is very fast indeed. This was released by McDonald's way back in 2004 from Disney and Pixar's film. You can actually wind up the toy and you basically put it, there's supposed to be a post there, and you would see how fast Dash would go. Okay, our next toy is another, let me see, which one is it? Oh, okay, so this is actually Chibibota from Tiger Electronics, you know, the creators of the Meowchi or the Robochi. So this one is a class of its own. So Chibiboto, it looks like a really cute robot. This was released by McDonald's way back in 2000, and it's supposed to be a wind-up toy. And every time you push the yellow, it will actually move like crazy. This old toy is from 1996, released by McDonald's in their series called McDonald's Safari. Look at that. That's Hamburglar atop the tree with some unusual exotic birds there. I think it's looking for some beasts. You're supposed to rotate the bottom and then it will go up and down. I don't know. It doesn't function as well. Okay, he's probably looking for animals, so wild animals, or it could be looking for burgers. You know how much the hamburgers love the hamburger loves the hamburger. Wow. Okay, the next toy is dun, 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 dun. Okay, so this is the Blue Ranger from the series Power Rangers Dino Thunders. Look at that. There is the logo there, and then you push this button here. There's the logo, Power Rangers Dino Thunders. Okay, let's see what happens when we push that button. Oh, it's still kicking the Blue Rangers. The Blue Ranger, I mean. So Blue Ranger is actually represented by Ethan Hawke way back in 2004. This was released by McDonald's during that year. Okay, so this one is actually Zed from Men in Black. This was actually released by Burger King way back in 1998. You know, there's supposed to be an upper torso here because these aliens are disguising themselves. So I have yet to look for the upper part of this particular toy. But nonetheless, Zed looks very handsome. Okay, now for the next one, we have... Oh, look at that. This is a hammerhead shark. It's a white hammerhead shark. And let's see. There's actually a surprise here. Okay, so inside the hammerhead shark is actually Marco, one of the prominent characters from the series Animorphs. Okay, let's see if it can actually stand up. So that is Marco as a hammerhead shark. So this was released by Taco Bell way back in 1999. And it looks like a really, really dandy toy. I think this is actually a glow in the dark. I don't know. Maybe I should check if it actually glows when you put the hammerhead shark in the dark. This old toy is from 1998, released by Burger King in, as a promotional toy from Small Soldier. I guess everybody knows about the Small Soldier. This toy is actually Rip Roarin' Kip Killigan, one of the prominent members of the Commando Elite. Look at the motorcycle. It looks very, very fierce. That is Rip Roarin' Kip Killigan. Okay, this next toy is from the Capitol Critters. This is in particular called the President Cat. As you can see, he's actually on top of the Capitol. So this must be a really fun television show. It's actually a satire of the president sitting at the White House. Okay, so this was released by Burger King way back in 1992. It's made of rubber and it looks nice. And now we proceed with the next one. This is, wow, look at that. This is actually called the Airplane Squeaker. So they're from the toy company Sassy. They are toys from under tree by Burger King, released in 2001. And as you can see, when you pop one of the head, it can actually make a squeaking sound. This is pretty awesome. Look at that. It actually makes my dog really bark as if it sounds like another puppy. So this is a pretty cool toy. Okay, let me see. Oh, here's another edition. This is actually Minnie Mouse and a snowman. Look at that. This was released by Nestle in their Nestle cereals way back in 1990. Now, as you can see, the toy is very simple. It actually makes Minnie Mouse skate around the snowman. Okay, I don't know how we're going to do it. So basically, Minnie Mouse, as she is bringing this red gift, is actually rotating on the snowman. This is part of the series, Christmas series, brought to us by Nestle way back in 1990. Okay, sorry about that. We're topping down the other toys. Okay, now we proceed with Black Arachnia. Look at this one, it looks very red. So this is part of the Transformers Beast Machines Deluxe. And as we may very well observe, Black Arachnia is actually a robot that can transform into a spider character. Look at that. Let's see how we can transform this Black Arachnia. So this was actually released by McDonald's way back in 1999. Okay, so it can oh, look at that. It looks like a spider. The hair would act like the head of the spider. This is pretty neat. Yes. And then we transform him into our robotic Black Arachnia. This is pretty awesome. And considering that it's been as old as 20 years old, it looks good. Okay, next up we have, ooh, look at this one. This is Diggin' Frog. It's actually a spinner. Okay, so Diggin' Frog is actually the mascot of Honey Smack cereals from Kellogg's. So this was brought to us by Kellogg's way back in 2003. And the Diggin' Frog looks very nice. It's very cute. And I just wish, the cereal boxes nowadays would come up with toys. Happy Meal, in fact, was actually inspired by the cereal boxes, the fact that they're giving away toys. Okay, now for our next toy. Okay, so this is a Pokemon character, and this is called Ladybug. So for those of you who are fans of the Pokemon, most probably you know Ladybug. So this is a spinning top also, but you know what? I thought this is a McDonald's, but this was actually released by Kellogg's. This is an awesome toy. Way back in the year 2000, the cereal boxes are coming up with really nifty toys, just like this Ladybug spinning top. I just love it, and it captured the essence of Ladybug. Okay, our next toy is, so this is Crackle, one of the triumvirate from mascot from Rice Krispies. Okay, so this is a top. I wish you could have Snap and what's the other one? Snap, Crackle, and Pop. Yeah, so they were given away by Kellogg's Rice Krispies way back in 2003, and these tops are really awesome. So Crackle is actually sitting on top of a bowl of Rice Krispies, and all he needs now is some milk. Okay, now let's proceed with the next one. So dun da da dun, it is none other than, woo, look at that. This is so cool. This is a Rat Trap from Transformers Beast Machines. And as you can see, this is actually the robot that can transform into a rat also. Look at the head of the rat. Okay, that is pretty, oops. I think we're doing it well. Okay, so that's the rat version of Rat Trap. So aside from being a robot, it can actually transform into a rat. Thus the name Rat Trap. So this was released by McDonald's way back in 2000, and these are pretty cool, they look like very expensive toys, and McDonald's is coming up of these toys as freebies for their Happy Meals. Okay, so the next toy is, let's see, this is very suspenseful. Okay, so this is Sheriff Woody Pride from Toy Story, or short for Woody. He's more popularly known as Woody. And look at this one. This was actually released by Kellogg's way back in 2003. I just love this series. They are bobbleheads, miniature bobbleheads of some of our favorite Disney characters, and they look very nice. A worthy toy of Andy Davis. Okay, our next toy is none other than, okay, so this is Elastigirl from The Incredibles. And as we all know, this is the wife of Mr. Incredible. And her power lies on her ability to actually stretch herself out like an elastic band. Okay, so as you can see, the belly is actually stretchable. I don't know if the stretchability is very long. Anyway, I don't want to risk that because this is such a wonderful toy to be just destroyed by experimentation. The limbs are actually bendable, so this is pretty neat. Okay. Okay, our next toy is also quite bendable. So this is the Sonic Guy bendable. So they're distributed or given away by Sonic Drive-In way back in 2005. Look at this one. So you can basically bend the limbs, the hands, the arms, and the legs. So this is part of the series called the Extremes. So they're bendable toys from the Wacky Pack of Sonic Drive. Okay, our next toy is Frank the Pug. Look at that. So this is from the movie Men in Black. This was released by Burger King way back in 2002. Look at that. It is so cute. Look at the tongue that is actually coming out. So, do you know the pug is actually a Remulian? It's an extraterrestrial alien. Okay, so this ordinary looking pug is actually an informant and sometimes an agent, an occasional agent for the MIB, for the Men in Black. This is pretty cool. I love it. Okay, so the next toy is the newer M&M characters. This is the blue M&M. It looks like an elongated round thing, just like the peanut, the yellow one. So these were released in the early 2000s, circa 2000. I'm not really certain as to what exactly the year they were released, but they are bendable M&Ms. So basically all the limbs, the arms and the legs can actually be bended for, you know, a lot of playtime for this awesome toy. And it looks very awesome. I was just wondering what kind of ingredients actually in the blue M&Ms. I haven't tried. If the yellow one has peanuts, what is inside the blue M&M? Okay, next we have the California Raisins. One of the California Raisins. You know, these characters are very popular claymation characters way back in the 80s as well as in the early 1990s. Yeah, early 90s. And they look very groovy to say the least. Okay, so these are a group of California Raisins promoting the California Raisins. And they are so popular that even Hardee's came up with California Raisins series. That is way back in 1991. And I have a couple of them. Okay, and then we proceed with the next toy. What could it be? Okay, oh, look at that. This is actually Sykes. Look at that. Look at the face. It looks like a human. And the eyebrows. Do you know Sykes is actually a pufferfish? And the face looks very uncanny. Okay, so the toy has this ability. You rotate the fins and it will actually move in the tub or in the water just like so. So you simply have to spin it or wind it like that, and then it will actually move forward as if swimming in the bathtub. Look at that. Now the face is very funny. Do you know the actor who actually, or the director who actually voiced Sykes the pufferfish? It's actually Martin Scorsese. It looks like Martin Scorsese. That was released by Burger King way back in 2004. Now the next toy is equally exciting also. It has a one-eye, well, basically it's a one-eyed character because this is Cyclops from the movie Hercules from Disney that was released way back in 1997. So much so, McDonald's also came up with these series of toys. McDonald's, yeah, and way back 1997 also. But this in particular was not released in the Philippines. I'm glad I was able to get it. I think it was released in the States. Okay, this toy was released by Kellogg's in 2003, and it is none other than Jessie, the yodeling cowgirl. Look at that. It looks very nice. Just like the version that she thought she was intended to be, like a collectible, very crisp and very clean. But of course, it took Woody for her to realize that a toy is supposed to be played with. They're supposed to be bound to Japan together with Bullseye. But anyway, thank goodness for Woody. She made it. She realized that a toy is supposed to be played with, just like this bobblehead from Kellogg. Okay, look at this. This is the nerd candy mascot. Look at that. This was produced by Willy Wonka Candy way back in 1983. Look at that. It looks so nice and cute. The nerds, it was believed that they were actually inspired by Dr. Seuss's book, If I Ran the Zoo, because there was a mention of the nerds there. So this is actually a candy dispenser. So we saw how we will put the candies and then we rotate the head to bring out the candies. Those pebble shaped, irregular shaped candies, which are so good and so delicious. No wonder the mascot has its tongue positioned that way, because the nerds candies are really delicious. Okay, our next toy is Gustav Patton Griswold, aka Gus. Okay, so this is a Polish American kindergartner who's very known for her neurotic, very, very weird ways. Just like this one. I think this is the only kindergartner who has a golf club. Okay, a very weird guy, this Gus. And then, as you can see, there is that contraption at the back, and when we push Gus in that direction, you simply push it and then it would make a strike on the golf club. Look at that. This is pretty awesome. This was released in 1999 by McDonald's as promotional for Recess. Okay, our next toy, this is Cheetor. Okay, from the Transformers Beast Machine, released by McDonald's way back in the year 2000. And just like the other toy from this line, they can actually convert from a robotic form into another beast, just like Cheetor here. It can transform into a cheetah, as long as you know how to position the cheetah. Okay, so this is pretty nice. So once again, this is a really awesome toy from McDonald's Happy Meal way back in 2000. And yeah, look at that. Does it look like a cheetah? It actually has two heads, but I'm having a problem trying to rotate the head. Anyway, it's supposed to make the heads turn, and I cannot determine what's the difference between the two heads. Okay, one is supposed to be a robot and the other one is the head of a cheetah. And anyway, I think that looks like a real wonderful, awesome pose for a cheetah. Very worthy for this toy called Cheetor. Wow. Okay, the next toy is so this is Mickey Mouse. This was released by Kellogg's way back in 2003 as part of the series of toys called the Bobbleheads, Disney Bobbleheads. Look at this cute creation, all the pièce de résistance of Walt Disney. I think this character is pretty old. The first appearance was in Steamboat Willie way back in 1928, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, we have to acknowledge that this was also created by another cartoonist, Ub Iwerks, in collaboration with Walt Disney, of course. Yes. Okay, next one is Chirpy Chi from this series called Robot Chi Pets. This was released by McDonald's way back in 2002. And look at this futuristic bird. And don't you want to have a bird just like this one in the future as your pet? Of course, nothing can replace the real life pets. But anyway, especially when you're living in a condominium unit, and would be very hard to tend to our real life pets, you can opt for robotic pets just like Chirpy Chi. Look at that. This is pretty awesome. Okay, who could be next? So this is Boss from the Hamtaro series, released by Burger King way back in 2003. So boss here is actually, yeah, looking like a boss. He's the self-proclaimed leader of the Ham Ham. So this is a spinning wheel. Yeah, so you can basically move it like that to make it spin. And he looks kind of gruff, but deep inside, he's actually a very lovable character from the Ham Hams or the Hamtaro television series in Japan. Okay, the next one is none other than oh, this is Joffrey, the giraffe from Toys R Us. I don't know if we can consider this as a fast food toy. Anyway, it's here in the bag. So this is Jeffrey the giraffe from Toys R Us, released in 1999. This has been the mascot of Toys R Us because this is also very significant because most of my toys also come from Toys R Us. And last but not the least, we have Manta Ray from the Transformer Beast Wars. So this was released by McDonald's way back in 1996. And then, just like the other toys from this type of series, the Transformers Beast Wars, it can actually transform from a robot into a manta ray. Look at that. And manta ray is actually a female. Rumor has it she is a little bit cranky, sometimes a little schizophrenic, if you catch my drift, but wonderful indeed to be added in my collection of toys. So basically, these are the old new toys that will be added on my list of ever-growing Percy's fast food toy collection. Oh, look at that. So give yourself a big round of applause, guys, for you've added once again to the seemingly innumerable collections that we already have. And I'm glad that we were able to actually add some more wonderful collectibles, fast food toys in my collections. So thank you guys for tuning in and see you around. Bye.